Okay, hi. Now, I'm just saying, can you just check whether it's live? Sorry about just now. I'm not too sure what happened. And of course, anything got to do with online is definitely going to have the technical problem. It's already on. Can you check, please? Yep. Okay. So, is it on? Yeah. On already. Okay. So thank you very much. I hope you all can join me again. And now, while we're waiting for this Nadia to come in, we were just there about to talk about Nadia is our guest for today, and she is a very famous MC, and I use her a lot because I really love her professionalism. And we were just talking about imposter syndrome, and we get cut off. And embracing digital is always like that, right? Because the technology can help us in many ways, but when it got to do with Wi-Fi and all these things, it get a little bit tricky. So in this case itself, let us embrace it with an open heart, and thank you all for your kind heart for forgiving us for not for just cut off like that just now. Now we'll have Nadia in the house. Let me invite her. Okay, cool. Hi Nadia.
Hi.
You know, when we talk about embracing technology, even though we don't need to travel, but we have to get used to all these, cutting off and Wi-Fi is not strong and all these things. So it's pros and cons, isn't it?
Exactly. But we adapt.
Precisely, we adapt. So there's no perfection in everything. So there's a pros and cons. All we ask for is we are kind-hearted enough to embrace all this. Yeah? Okay, so Nadia, just now you're talking about this imposter syndrome. Tell us a little bit about that.
I mean, personally, I think I realized, when I first came across the term, I realized it's something that I didn't even know, I didn't even know that there was a term for it, but it's something that I personally have struggled with for a very, very long time. I think a lot of people have it, and there was just never really a name to put to it. So, I mean, it's one of those scenarios where I think, you can be the best at what you do, like what I've been doing now for the last 10 years as an MC. I still, to this day, up until recently, like very recently, and it's because I can finally say, I've been doing this for a decade. It gives me so much more confidence, and I feel like I can trust my own abilities. But if you asked me 5 years ago, I always feel like a little bit like a fraud, you never really fully believe in your own achievements, and no matter how hard you've been working at it, and people can tell you, you did a great job, sometimes you don't actually have that own self-belief. So it's something that I really identify with, and I think a lot of people go through it, but we go through life without really having a name for it, So it's very interesting that you bring it up. But I'm very happy to say that I'm in a much better place now than I was, say, 5 years ago. Yeah.
Now, what do you think would highly be the cause of all these things? I mean, this is totally is a discussion from a friend to friend.
Yeah.
I find out that somehow, somewhere, I think is human made also in terms of this kind of thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because it's the society expectations of what is right, what is wrong, who should be there, who should not be there.
Right.
So I think all this unnecessary has cultivated that part of it that makes us feel the unworthiness, right? Because I always say this because I always believe that we are meant to lift other people up than put other people down.
Mm-hmm.
But don't you think that in the society, a lot of people like to see other people fail and like to see other people don't do well in their thing? So I don't understand this. I think partially because of that, all these things come out. I'm not sure. What do you think?
I think a lot of it is down to insecurities, and like you said, people like to tear other people down. It's really normal because, and I think social media hasn't helped the situation. With social media coming into play, it makes it even more easy for all of us to constantly go through our phone every day, albeit some of us have to do it for work, but as long as you scroll through it, you cannot help yourself. Your your mind automatically suddenly will start comparing every little thing without you even realizing it. You may not want to do it, but subconsciously you end up comparing yourself to other people. And I think that doesn't help. So I think imposter syndrome is probably even more common today than it ever was, because there's so much more opportunity for us to constantly compare ourselves with someone 24 hours a day, you know?
Right. Yeah. And then sometimes when we do that, we almost like, if we see anything nice comment on us, I mean, we are cool, we love that. But the moment that we see a bad comment, we start to be reacting over it. Yeah. And sometimes this bad comment may not even be true.
Yeah, yeah.
But I think that, are we not affected by that? I cannot safely say so, because no matter what, we are human after all, right? So I think sorry, you're saying?
No, I was just wondering if you experience imposter syndrome yourself.
Of course I do. Especially I have it is when I first came back and I partnered with Jatimini, and 8 years ago. And that is where I whenever I do my interview, I always say this. It's like during that period of time, almost about a year, I almost every night I kind of have doubt, because it usually come at night, because it's at night where I feel more emo and lonely, right? So that's where I kind of always ask myself that, am I worthy to be standing beside her? Am I worthy to be making friends with her friends? So that's the question that I keep asking myself, right? So, but all I do is I try to like play perspective with my mind. I kind of say that, hey, Steve Wee, now let me tell you, if a person like Dr. Winnie willing to play with you and willing to give you the opportunity, what else you want? Yeah. Snap yourself out of it and move on. Now, you would rather to have this opportunity and have this kind of issue, or you don't even have this opportunity and never have this kind of issue? Well, I think then I make my whole judgment again. But of course, the tomorrow will come again, and then a few weeks later, sometimes it will come again. You can't even predict it when it will come. Now, it will come normally as you move up to another level of success. Yeah. Isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. So,
okay,
so you talked yourself out of it. So you managed to be your own cheerleader to get yourself out of that dark place. Did you have any help from friends, or was there any trigger moment which made you realize, like you said, you know, if Dr. Winnie is willing to work with you, then that means you're capable, right, of something. Like, but was there anything else that helped you get out of that old mentality?
Actually, sometimes it's very tricky, because not everyone knows exactly what is going on with you, because you know the best what is going on. Sometimes when you share with people, you can share only this much, because they don't know the whole story about that. Yeah. And I discovered that during these 8 years, the best person to talk to me is the good part of me talking myself out. But I'm not sure whether it's possible for many people, but that is how I have been working my way up, especially even this crisis. I also talk myself into re-strategizing and moving forward. But because like what we say, we can be our own friend, we can be also our own enemy. So it's just like how you kind of like divide yourself and start to be talking to yourself about what is the pros and cons of doing whatever decisions that you are making. Yeah. But I feel that the imposter syndrome also partially is also because we think too much.
So true. Isn't it? So true. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. My sister is very funny. My sister like to say this to me, and I think that she is very right in this, because my sister, whenever my younger sister, whenever I share with her and say, "Hey sis, I think that today very emo." Do you know what my younger sister say? My younger sister will say, "Bro, I think you are too free." She is pretty right about that, because it's only when you're free and you have all the times to be overthinking it or getting emo of it, isn't it? Huh? Yeah. So, okay. So that is a very fun part. And thanks for sharing with us about the imposter syndrome. Let's go to something maybe a little bit more fun. I'd like to ask you, do you remember when we first met, Anna? Oh.
Okay. Do you remember? I believe it was at an event at what's that new hotel called? The one in Damansara Heights.
Damansarahi?
Sofitel. We met at Sofitel, right?
No, much earlier.
Really?
It's a much earlier. Wait,
Okay,
how long have you been out as in started your journey as hosting?
10 years.
10 years. Let me tell you, it's almost at the beginning of your career.
No way. Really? No. Are you serious?
Yes. Okay, I give you one more chance. Huh?
I give up. My memory is
You
awful.
give up?
You have to tell me, yeah.
Okay. That time I just got back, okay? And I was invited to an event. And that was at Mid Valley. Remember you're hosting an L event?
Oh my gosh.
That like so long ago, remember?
In the concourse, right?
Yes, in the concourse, remember that?
Oh my gosh, that's so long ago.
And you know what? And I got the grand prize of the lucky draw.
No.
I went out.
Are you sure it was an L event, not a Sicily event? Wait.
Not Sicily event, L event, because L they have like nationwide of like going through their how many years anniversary.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's right, the end. Okay. My goodness, wow. I need to learn a thing or two from you.
Yeah. Okay. So
thousands of events back. I'm impressed.
But it's okay. Maybe you don't remember me because I'm just a newbie in town, right? But and that itself I remember because I remember you because I was at an event and I got the grand prize and I was so happy about that and I remember there's time when Datin told me that you are Nadia Heng and you are Miss Malaysia World. Now, then many years later we didn't cross paths until reached a couple of events, you see, but the most recent one before I really get you to host my event is actually the what you call private banking event where they pull me up to the stage where we take how many items on our body and we start. Remember? Do you have that?
Was it the Bradbury event?
Correct, in the Grand Hyatt. Remember?
Yeah.
That is where we crossed paths again.
Yeah.
The reason why I decided to get you to host my event is because from the L event to the Bradbury event, I see so much of growth and changes in you.
Oh wow!
And I'm so proud. Because I see that, oh my God, Nadia have grown to be so good and so lively and so it's like I'm saying that I'm so good getting her to host my event next.
Oh, wow.
And that's where shortly I'm talking to you for my High Fly Award. That's how it goes.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I thought that was at Sofitel, wasn't it? The Bradbury event, wasn't it at Sofitel? Or maybe that was the second year.
That one is the one of the event, but there's another event in Grand Hyatt.
Okay. Yeah. So that's the one that I remember very well. Yeah.
Correct. Right. So that's where we met first, and that's that we have an impression on you. Okay, so I always have a question because you know what, I really love to watch Miss Universe.
Mm-hmm.
I love Miss Universe than Miss World.
Yeah,
because I'm not too sure. Right, it was spicy, more colorful, right? Why I love Miss Universe, I always feel like it's just like Olympic. It's not very easy to be selected as the one that represent your country and to be fighting with the rest of other country, most gorgeous, most beautiful, smartest. And it's really not easy. And I know how stressful that can be. And I almost like it when everyone like being like top 20, top 5. And whenever I see an Asian to be there, I feel so proud. And I'm most happier is because when I really love Katrina Gray very much. And I met her in person in Jakarta.
No.
Right, so I still have a picture. I should send it to you. And I feel, and she's so humble and so friendly. I almost like seated literally like just few seats away from her, right? So it's almost like bucket list is up. I'd like to ask you a question. Is like this: is because people have a certain perception on beauty queen.
Mm-hmm.
My question is, it does help you in the early stage when you kickstart your career, but do you think that it also hinders your career being a beauty queen?
Yeah.
My question is this. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's very interesting that you say that, because I personally think that it's like with anything, it's a double-edged sword, so to say, right? So the pro is that yes, it can definitely open the doors initially, but then again, on the flip side is that because there's so many stereotypes and like really I think stereotypes that if you ask anyone, right, they would tell you straight away, what are the top 3 stereotypes about beauty queens? They will give them to you, right? And those are not necessarily positive stereotypes. People sometimes think that, all you know how to do is just look pretty, that, you're just maybe beauty and no brains, or like, I think a lot of people also have this impression that if you've joined a pageant, that means you are a certain type of person. And also, a lot of people feel like it's objectifying women. So I think there's definitely a lot of negative perceptions as well out there regarding beauty pageants. I mean, there's both sides, right? There's positive and negative ones. And I think that it can work against you if you don't prove people wrong. So if you speak to someone and they already have this preconceived notion of what a beauty queen person is going to be like, then it's up to you when you talk to them to make that first impression, to sway their opinion. And you can, because sure, they can make a first impression within the first 3.2 seconds of getting to know you. But after you start talking to someone, I think that is where you can help to break that stereotype and break the mold, So yeah, I think you're right. There's definitely some kind of hindrance to it, especially when it comes to maybe the more corporate scene. If people want you to host some kind of conference that maybe is not so lifestyle, maybe it's to do with banking or something science-based or something more serious, that, it can come with a label. But I think if you prove them wrong, it helps, right? So it's up to you to break that stereotype.
I think the reason why I ask you this is because it's so interesting that why do we come into this point is because don't you think that all the time that we talk about judging people, now we're also judging career, judging the word called beauty queen, judging the word called flight attendant, right? So the reason I ask is because I think that it's all this preconception and also judging that is going on is because you start judging that beauty queen before you start judging Nadia Heng.
Yeah. That's
so that is why I say, that's why we were talking about nowadays in any of the Hollywood drama or Korean drama, they try to do the inclusiveness about things. It's like, stop doing all these, right? Start seeing that person as he is before we talk about any other things. I think that this is the one that I think could prevent a lot of all these things from happening. Unfortunately, I think society being a society, I think it probably still take a century or a decade to make it happen.
Yeah.
Don't you think so?
It's true. It will take time. And I think it's, it's I think it's also a part of our human nature, it goes back to our primal instincts for survival, and I think to a certain degree it's actually meant to protect us, so if you go back to our forefathers, like say cavemen, you automatically are programmed to judge the person coming at you, because you have to know if they are a threat or whether they're a friend or whether they're a foe. And I think till this day we still have those primal instincts, and that's why we judge people. But like you said, we can actively be aware of our own judgment and our own stereotypes, and be mindful when we meet people for the first time. Put yourself in check, maybe I've already started to imagine this person is a flight attendant and therefore they must be ABC. But, if you suddenly realize, hey, what am I doing? You can actively program yourself to throw those stereotypes aside and meet someone with an open, like, you know, an open canvas and try to be more open and receptive to who they are. Yeah.
Totally agree with that. And that makes us a much more kinder person and much more receptive with our environment. And to do that, I think I learned it a lot from Dr. Winnie Lu, because she is that kind of person. And after you're doing that, you will discover that you somehow get to see a lot of good things coming in from doing this practice, isn't it? Like seeing things that you don't think that you will see.
Exactly.
That's okay. Okay, Nadia, I'll just say hi to some of the people that are still in the chat room. Hi, Derek. Hi, Lim. Hi, Melissa. Hi, Juliet. Tony, hi, Jason. Thank you. Long time no see. Shukri, Alan, Sokwan, Kenji, Emmanuel, Sammy. So, Mr. Lai, and you are in the house. Now, could you trouble you to like, comment, and share this Facebook Live so everyone get to see and hear from the gorgeous Nadia Heng, because we get to go very in depth to really see what makes out of this, awesome, MC in town. And I can safely say she is worth every dollar of dollars that you are paying her to host your event, because it's not about the money, it's about the value that she's going to give you in your event. Yeah. Okay. So now I want to ask you. Yeah. And you know what? We're talking about the NCO and the COVID-19 crisis, and being a host, I think is highly affecting your job and your career, right? So how are you handling this, and how are you re-strategizing in terms of this?
It's funny because I feel like, personally for me, I know everyone has different situations, and it is a very difficult time for many people. And to be honest, I'm just glad to have a roof over my head and afforded the opportunity to actually still be productive during these times. So even though, of course, the events industry, as you know, is completely, smashed to smithereens, at least for the rest of this year, I believe, or people will be re-strategizing and doing virtual events. I think that is going to be the future. But for me personally, I've been really lucky, because this is kind of the break that I have been meaning to take, which I never did, to actually start and rather complete a project that I started working on a while ago. So I've been using this time to polish up and complete my masterclass series. So it's officially launched, and I'm really excited. And yay! Yeah, I'm so happy, because it took me, I had all these notes everywhere, and I finally was able to take the time to consolidate all my research, all my information, all my, actually write it down and complete my coursework. So I finished all 12 modules. And yeah, so it literally just launched 2 days ago. So I'm really excited.
Amazing.
I've been using this time to actually do this. And I think also because personally for me, I have in the last 2 years been doing a lot of online learning anyway. And I've always thought that this is the future. If we use technology for something good, this is it, right? To do online courses where you can do from anywhere in the world. You can do it when you're traveling, you can do it at home, you can do it, during MCO. It's the perfect tool to be able to still enrich ourselves, and upskill and level up.
Amazing, right? You got to do something about that, right? And especially I think the COVID-19 crisis has helped us a lot to kind of like make everyone, especially in the Malaysians, to embrace technology and digital. Because we no need to do a little bit. You must use online. You must use digital. Now we can tell even the auntie in the market selling vegetables, or the fishmonger, are all using digital to support because it's a no choice. It's an embracing. It's either you do it or you cannot survive, right? And that makes things a little bit more interesting. And which bring me here that these couple of these 2 months, a lot of people are going into online suddenly, right?
Yeah.
And then when you go, we have a influx of overloading of online products, online things, online what, and you see a lot of people starting to do everyone become a public figure. Everyone have a fan page. I don't even have one. I don't know why. And then, what is your thought about that?
I think, I think it's really interesting, like you said, right? Because it means at this point in time, the playing field is almost level, right? Everyone, as long as you have an internet connection and you have a phone, you realize, hey, you know, I've been sitting on this gold mine all these years and I've never used it, right? So now I feel like people are starting to innovate, people are starting to get creative. And to be honest, I found it really inspiring because you see people from all kinds of industries making use of just their phone and some Wi-Fi, some internet, and turning it into a business. And it's incredible, right? So I think sometimes when you get disruptions like this this is like unprecedented, but something like MCO is, you know, really made all of us reevaluate how we do things and be smarter, right? So I think it's really cool that, I mean, sure, there's a lot of people online now, but I think, you know, kudos to them because they're trying. Everyone's trying to find their own path, navigate the market, you know, and trying to understand this new environment. And in a way, it's made even big companies also reevaluate how they do things. And it also means that consumers will have so much more options to choose from because there's going to be so much competition. Everyone's going to want to up their game. And I think we're going to see a lot of really quality stuff emerge as the survivors. I mean, there will be probably products and services that may fall by the wayside, but this will be like a test to see, you know, who's getting the formula right. I think it's an interesting time. Yeah. Definitely.
Right, and then the thing, if you want to get the formula right, and also you want to be good in presenting yourself, don't forget to sign up for Nadia Heng class because she will be a very good person to share with you how is it like to be presenting yourself, especially in the terms of public speaking, isn't it? Huh? I'm promoting big time for promoting yourself.
No, but I was gonna say, like, it's actually the perfect opportunity to learn branding from the maestro like Steve himself. So really, like, privileged to learn from someone like you as well, you know. So yeah.
Thank you very much. I always feel that in the online world, the survival of the fittest, what I would call that, survival of the fittest means you really need to get yourself to be all-rounded. Being online is one thing, content reach is one thing, delivery is one thing, fame is one thing, likability is one thing. So all these elements plays a very big role in terms of the success of the whole journey of it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was wondering, what about you? What have you been doing during MCO that you can share with us? Like, because I know you've been re-strategizing as well. So how has your team been doing it? Yeah.
Right. When the COVID-19 hit, right, I almost quite lost in the beginning, but the first two weeks, I was like kind of like, first of all, I've lost, but I kind of observing what is the trend that is going on. But when I see a lot of influx of a lot of people going online, I start to see what are they doing, and I discover something that a click away, most people are able to do a background check on you.
Yeah.
And when they do a background check on you, most people have this mindset. This mindset is called what? Like, in the offline world, they are very well-rounded. Okay, they do their day-to-day, they work hard. I mean, they are full of different wisdom and things like that. But in the online world, they are nobody.
Okay.
Because they have no presence.
Right, yeah.
Either that or their presence is only food picture, only traveling picture. Right. So if let's say, I feel like it's kind of a waste because for let's say you are 20 years amazing career and you don't record down these 20 years over in your Facebook or in your Instagram, which is a good bookkeeper for your record. And if you don't do it, you almost want to start all over again now, which is not a bad idea to start better than never start. But you already wasted a lot of opportunity that could have gotten if your online and offline world would be synchronized and in congruence with your branding. I'm not even asking to be over or brand yourself, no. But I'm just saying that could your offline world and online world, when I look at you, is the same person? Yes. So this is one of the issue, and therefore I re-strategize. The first thing is start to go around and share with you the importance of online personal branding strategy, which is quite a big hit because a lot, and with that itself, I managed to help people from all different industries, right? and to re-strategize themselves. I was just speaking to my friend, and yesterday I have like two new industry that I'm so blessed to have them to be my client. One is actually in the product of doing breast firming.
Oh wow! Okay.
Oh, I was like, okay, that's so interesting. But in fact, I told this client of mine, I said, you are in the right line because it's quite important, and a lot of female have like probably will find that this is an issue. So that is my first time meeting this kind of trade. Now the second one is it's called immigrant investment, which means before you immigrate, they start to plan your investment first to whichever country there is. And I find that also very interesting, right?
Yeah.
Now the question is like, actually a lot of top people, they are already planned to leave Malaysia for whatever reason it is, right? And that is also because I first time meeting this person, we have that kind of role. So I'm quite blessed to have like all walks of life coming to me. Like the more different, then I like it. But saying that, I haven't re-strategized my high flyer Asia, which is 2 years of my hard work. And I was like, do I need to push like my award, like one that you're hosting, and also my Super Networking Masterclass, this Super Networking Conference all the way to next year? I just don't like it to be defeated by the crisis, right?
No, absolutely not. Yeah.
So I was kind of like, okay, so pray. First of all, I pray a lot. So I pray and I hope that the answer will come. And I feel like sometimes when you pray and you ask for answer, they won't tell you when will come one. But they will come eventually, but you're not too sure when will that. And I like to share, it's like exactly 6 weeks later, six weeks later, on a one fine Saturday night, and it has all the answer coming in on how to strategize to be hybrid. So therefore, like I was sharing with you earlier that I'm going to launch a couple of projects, and this year we are going to launch 3 big projects in August, October, and December. And it's going to be very awesome because it's going to be hybrid, and we're going to so far we are very blessed because this project itself, we also have interest coming from other countries to pick up the project. So very blessed. I think I'm very blessed. Thank you very much. Yeah, because don't worry, you will be a part of it also.
I look forward to it.
Right. Okay. So I mean that's the part of it. I'm very happy. Once you have researched it, you know that then you can safely say crisis is opportunity. But if you cannot think through, you cannot say the sentence.
That's true.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to ask you something is, a lot of people, my foreign friends, right, like to say this. How come Malaysia has a lot of beautiful girls? I say, why you say so? Because everyone is pageant queen. Everyone is pageant. There's so many pageant, Chinese, English, everywhere is pageant. My question is, since so many pageant, see so many things, how do you differentiate yourself from your competitors in terms of the beauty queen environment? Because you see, first of all, you have to get the taboo of objectifying beauty queen. Mm-hmm. Secondly, we have to get yourself to differentiate between I call it the grade A beauty queen and also the not so grade A beauty queen. Just to put my words better in a nice way.
Okay. I mean, I think like personally for me, I don't necessarily view, because like, to be fair, it's been 10 years, right? So it was 10 years ago that I represented Malaysia to Sanya in China. But the Miss World pageant was a door opener for me, sure. But again, it's about proving yourself and being able to sustain in the long haul. And when it comes to branding myself and differentiating myself from competitors, if I'm very honest, I focus not on competition. I focus actually on my strengths and my opportunities, because I think it's really important to stay focused and to know what you are good at and then hone in on that. The problem when you compare yourself with your competitors is you can be pulled down a rabbit hole, and then you end up just getting confused and lost because you're just constantly comparing. And I think in this kind of line, especially when you are your personal brand, like your brand is you and you are the brand, that can be really dangerous, because it can affect you emotionally and mentally as well. So you know, if you're just a product, your product A, for example, then of course you have to do all your market research. You got to know what everyone else is doing out there, and that will not affect you as a human being, and you're not going to internalize any of that. So for me, my strategy has always been to just focus on my strengths, know what I'm good at, and that's how I kind of differentiate. Because I think only when you know what you're good at, you get better at it, you can capitalize on that. So say, for example, if I work with one client, the next time, you know, if you're good enough, word of mouth will get around, and the clients will form, like, they kind of become your brand ambassadors for you, right? So if they like working with you, I think that's number one, especially in my industry. You have to be someone who's easy to work with, who understands that, you know, you are, even though you're an MC and like you're in the spotlight on stage, but the secret about that is really that you are not the spotlight. You are actually just a facilitator that helps elevate your client, elevate the brand, but you're not the star of the show, you know. And I think that's one thing that I understood really early on. And for me, I think that's one of my strengths, like understanding that and being able to deliver that to clients. Another way that I differentiate myself is, you know, I look at like what my strengths are. So I think I'm a very versatile MC, and I try to use that on my like, I use my Instagram almost like a portfolio. So if clients go there, they can see all the events that I've done, and that kind of helps clients see, oh, okay, you know, if she can do like a fun run at 5 a.m. and then a super posh gala dinner at night, then they can see that, oh, she's versatile. She can do all kinds of events, you know. So I try to capitalize on that and do as many different types of events as I can. And that's the second pillar for me of like my own branding, so to say, right? So being easy to work with, being versatile. And also the third thing that I feel like really helps to differentiate myself, that's in my own personal branding, like one of my pillars, is energy. So whatever event I do, no matter how small, how big, you will always get like a positive vibe of energy that emanates. Because I think it's really important to, again, you're not the star of the show, but people got to be excited about the event, you know? And so I feel like when clients come to me, then those are the three things that they will guaranteed get, you know? So I'm easy to work with, I'm versatile, and I always bring the energy. So yeah, so that's how I do it. I focus on my strengths, and I don't actually think about competitors, because when your brand is you and you are the brand, it can be a very slippery slope, and personally a bit dangerous for me, because then I end up, you know, there's always going to be someone who's better than you. And there's also always going to be someone who's not as good as you. So you can't win that battle. Yeah. Personally, that's
I totally agree. I totally agree with you. And the third point about the high energy, you know, that's totally rocket, because the person with the highest energy wins, right? So it's all about transferring the energy, because it's transferring energy. It can be very, very, you know, a lot of people love that, because not everyone can have a high level of energy. That's to begin with. And in fact, you brought up a very good point, because on the part of, especially in your industry, you know, there will be people say you're not tall enough, your hair is not long enough, you're not fair enough, you're not Asian enough. You know, how? So what is enough, right?
Yeah.
So I think, you know, I also learned it in the early days, like somehow, somewhere, create your own ecosystem, that how things should be, your own rules and regulations. Of course, not a nasty one, but somehow you get it in such an environment that you will attract only people that like you for who you are.
Yeah.
And that's good enough, because it's enough if you have made the ecosystem big enough, right? So I think a lot of people, whenever they go into the question of, I have no choice, maybe I have to rethink again. Sometimes the choices is there, but it's just harder to make it into a choice. But if you think high enough and do your best, eventually, I think the ecosystems will belong to you, and you do not need to very much depends on the outer elements about how things is going to be.
Yeah.
Right?
Sure.
Okay, Nadia. So now, I mean, I'm saying the people in the house, if you have any questions to ask Nadia, because Nadia is very amazing. If you really have anything to ask her, thanks, Jamia, Marianne, Alvin, Jean, Lydia Liu, just join us. Mr. Yard, Felix, Reply, Juan Junior. Okay, if you're in the house, can I trouble you to like, comment, and share this Facebook Live so that more people were able to get to share this? You know how fast is it? We have only 10 more minutes to the ending of it. You know,
really?
so right. This one is like, that's why I say the 1 hour is like, it's like just in the blink of eye, it's just over. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I'd like to ask you maybe a little bit fun question. The fun question is this. Now, if you ever have a chance to switch brain with anyone in the world, who would it be and why?
Well, okay. There's a lot of people for different reasons, but I think because of the recency factor that I've just watched. Have you been following The Last Dance about Michael Jordan?
Yes, yeah, amazing show. Oh my God.
I would want to be in his mind because I mean, you know, they call him the GOAT for a reason, right? He really is the greatest of all time because that mentality that he has is something that if we can all apply that to ourselves, we will all excel in everything, right? Because he has this way of just drowning out the noise, and he is just always present in the moment. Like he doesn't even think about the next shot because it's like, what's the point in worrying about it if I'm not playing it right now? What's the point in worrying about it? And it made me realize, like, we spend so much time, and personally for me as well, I spend so much time worrying about things that haven't even happened yet, or you know, I worry about things in the past, and I think that actually consumes like a lot of energy, which if you invest all that worry and all that energy into actually the present moment, you can, you know, like as you can see with his performance, he's just like, he walks the talk, and he's able to be present in the moment. You know, I want to know how he does that. How does he shut out all the noise? Because being in that kind of scenario, you know, there's so much pressure. There's all this media attention on you, and it's so easy in a game like that, right, to just, like, if you're not in the right mental space, that's it. But he's so consistent. So yeah, that's definitely someone's mind who I'd like to be in. What about you? Do you have anyone?
I think this part of it, I would have to say, I have a word for this that I have been sharing it quite a lot and I've been using. So I kind of use, like, some people call it be mindful, right? Yeah. But being mindful is a bit quite general in many ways. So I kind of create this word called compartmentalize. Okay. Yeah. So what? So compartmentalize what? Compartmentalize problem, compartmentalize emotions, compartmentalize tasks, compartmentalize friends, compartmentalize almost everything that is happening, so that it's not disregard it, but it's just that, is it appropriate to be taking it out at this point of time, thinking about it, or maybe we should compartmentalize it and be present, like now I'm present with you, Nadia, and well, the next other thing, let us talk about it in the later part, and that includes the emotions that comes into, like, these emotions and that emotion is the different emotions, how we compartmentalize that also. I have since learned that being compartmentalize ourselves in terms of this help us to be really like, because my brain always like to visualize things that we can always kind of like get ourselves to be structured in many ways, just like a computer, keep this in this folder and this like that, and that help us to be a little bit more, number one, very sane, don't be crazy. Number two, mindfulness. Number three, I think you get a little bit happier and people find that you are very professional in many ways because you don't bring in this problem to talk about that problem. And, you know, like Roja, like that, you know? Yeah. What do you think about that?
I think it's a really, really like great way of looking at it, actually. Yeah, and that's probably what he does. You know, he probably compartmentalizes his family, emotions, everything, and when he plays, he's only focused on what's happening ahead of him. But my question to you is, how do you compartmentalize? So how do you tell yourself? How do you lock away certain factors that maybe are bothering you? How do you file them away?
I go through scenario. Is the environment. Okay, like this environment itself is where I'm going to talk to you. So what matters most now? Right. Okay. Now, does my problem that I have faced maybe 1 hour ago can I solve it now? I can't. Then don't bother lah.
Yeah.
Then the problem that is going to happen 1 hour later, can I solve it now? Also cannot. Then don't bother lah. So when I do that, I becomes like I only will be compartmentalized according to the scenario, which means what is happening now.
Yeah.
Actually,
I've seen. Yeah.
Sorry, yeah, you're saying. Go ahead. You saying?
No, I was just thinking. There's a saying, right? There's nothing to worry about, because if there's something to worry about, then it's good, because then you know that you can do something about it, right? But if there's nothing you can do about it, then there's nothing to worry about. So technically,
yeah. Or maybe that something is only you can think of a solution maybe tomorrow, but not today at this moment. So don't bother. Now that's why this is how I keep myself sleeping at night, because sleeping is where you cannot do any other things. So I compartmentalize everything to the tomorrow morning, so that I will get myself into that mode of resting mode. If not, it's quite horrible if I'm not able to control that, because as you grow to the next level, you have more problems to be solving. And if you're not able to handle this, it can be quite draining in many ways.
I'm sure. Yeah. I think you can only get so far in life if you are able to compartmentalize. Otherwise, you'll just be a wreck.
Yeah, big time. Yeah. So that's what I feel. Okay, you know what? I'm going to ask you a very last question, and this question is my favorite questions that I always ask all my guests for the last questions. Now, before that, if you're in the house, can I trouble you to like, comment, and share these Facebook Live, so that more people will be able to share, to see the gorgeous Nadia, and see how humble and how nice in terms of her personality, and also how in-depth is she in terms of an individual herself, right? So the last question I'll ask you, we need more kindness in the society. Do you agree?
100%. I think, kindness is something that should be done, like not as a thought, like, oh, I want to be kind. It should really just be part and parcel of all of us, like the fabric of humanity, right? Because at the end of the day, what's the point in living on this planet, right, if not for being kind to one another? I think it's just something that we should practice on the daily, and not even have to think about it. So whether you are ordering food, when the next time you go for dinner, or next time you go to mama, you go for breakfast, being kind to the person around you. And I think it's important to I'm not talking about necessarily the act of giving back, not even something as big as that yet, but even the small things. Like, there's no point donating 100,000 ringgit to charity if you're an asshole to someone who's serving you in a restaurant. You know what I mean?
True.
I shouldn't have said a bad word.
No, it's okay. It's there already.
It's, you know what I mean? But it defeats the purpose. Like, if you are someone who's going to donate $1 million tomorrow, and then you have, maybe you have someone who assists you or comes to clean your house, and if you treat them like crap, to me, then it defeats the purpose. I think we should be kind in everything that we do to the people around us, the people closest to us, and extend to wherever we can in our ability. If we have something, if we are blessed with more than we need, then we should share it, and if someone has made it, even if you haven't made it, I think as long as you are in a good position, for example, if you have more than enough at the end of the year to put away for savings, take a small sum of that, look for a cause, and give back. Find a cause that you support, whether it's a charity organization, whether it's a good program or a good campaign. Do it, whether it's for the environment. And the beauty about kindness is that when you do it purely out of your heart, it feels so good. It's almost selfish, because when you know that you managed to help someone, you can't help but feel like you're worth something as a human being, so 100% agree.
Amazing. I think your brother said, how do you do something is how you do everything, right?
Yeah.
Now we a lot of people say, I need to be well off before I can do charity, or I be kind, or whatever. You don't have to, right? Like for me, I always say this, from the fact that you walk down from your house, saying hello, good morning to your guard, to the cleaner, to the sweeper in the street. I find that it's so, like for me, I always do that. I feel it's so enriching, because I feel like who would actually say hi and smile and good morning, and that brighten up the other person's life if I put myself in his or her shoes, and that makes you feel so rich in terms of yourself as a person, right?
Yeah.
And I also agree. One more thing is sometimes when people are judging you, they don't only judge you based on one scenario; they judge you on your day-to-day scenario.
Yeah.
So all they see is the consistency of you being nice to me or you being nice to a lot of people. That is where most people start to see whether the real part of you is it this or not. So I think we all have to be mindful that we don't only be nice to a certain group of people, but being nice to everyone, that is the fundamental of us being a human. That is what we call a kindness, isn't it? Right?
Absolutely.
So that's why I'm getting you to be involved with one of my projects, which is coming very soon, and we will be announcing very soon. And it's all about women empowerment, and definitely Nadia is very big into this, and can't wait to work with her again. Now, thank you very much, Nadia. It has been a most amazing interview, and because I so long never catch up with you, and this amazing I make us be bonded again.
Yay! No, I really enjoy it. I really enjoy talking to you tonight. Thank you so much for having me. Really.
Do I pass as a host? Do I pass as a host?
100. Next time we should co-host together.
Right. Please guide me along.
No,
okay, thank you, Nadia.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nadia. So I'll sign you off for now. Thank you very much.
Right.
I'll sign you off first. Yeah, thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay, see you. Bye.
Okay. Now, thank you very much. And of course, now for you all to be in the house, I'd like to let you know that next week we have a very special guest. And this special guest is is my mentor and also a person that changed my life. Okay, her name is none other than Wong Chui Ling. Now I know her about 8 years ago. Together, when I first came back to Malaysia, I got to know her and also Dr. Milu. She has shown me a lot of ways of pulling myself up and also doing presentations or public speaking or MC or whatever, and also business and about human, about being entrepreneur. She has shown me so much in my life that I can't help to be feeling gratitude, because without her, I won't be who I am today. So next Wednesday at 8:30, you have Wong Chui Ling. And you know why I never get Wong Chui Ling in the beginning for these what you call that in my Facebook Live, is because I want to get myself to be well trained first before I get her to come in. Now, if you want to hear me and my interview with Wong Chui Ling, okay, please stay tuned next week on a Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. Okay, so bye for now. Please take good care of yourself and stay strong, and I'll see you very soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.